Good morning. Today is July 11th, and I'm going to take a look at my garden after being away for 7 days. The fig tree, some of the things look like they were a little bit, they were definitely dry, although there were a couple of days where they did have good rain. Things in the pots, of course, are going to suffer. The fig looked like it's finally starting to ripen, and the zinnias are in beautiful, full bloom. These intrigue me. This one looks very red. This one's coral, and this one's coming out to look like a coral yellow. We shall see what that looks like. I'm not sure if that's the Queen Lime series. Probably not. I only thought I had one survivor, but maybe. The guy here, I have no idea what that is. Might be a cucumber. Over here, the pots definitely took a hit. This needed to be cut back a long time ago. I'm not sure if I'm still going to cut it back, but it definitely needs some help. This zinnia is definitely dry. My lemon tree is definitely dry. It looks horrid. So I have to give that a feed today for liquid fertilizer and prune back the ground cherry because it's taking up a lot of new nutrients. The lemongrass got huge. I fed everything with liquid fertilizer before I left. So the pots are looking a little rough, so I'm going to have to work on that in the coming days. Before I left, I did pot up these bee balm and these columbines, and that was a good choice because they're doing great. They actually did grow in size since I left. Pretty good. Just 3 pots of columbine and 5 pots of the bee balm. Over here on the green stalk, I started to pick, and I was just like, I should probably get this on record. And definitely, I sprinkled some lettuce seeds in here before I left, and they actually germinated. So even though I thought it was going to be dry, they germinated. So I have to keep them alive now. I have to make sure I water them in. My tomato transplant is looking good. Has beautiful tomatoes on it. And my Merlot lettuce is starting to flower. I'm going to let it collect some seeds for next year because I think I did run low on those. The strawberries are not as big as they used to be, but they're still pretty tasty. And parsley is amazing. Tomatoes, finally some tomatoes from the red one. The yellow one, I think I cut it all the way back because it's dead. The Patio Choice yellow is dead, and the red one is just starting to produce. I'm going to go ahead and pick those as soon as I'm done with this video because it's supposed to rain today, and I want to make sure they stay sweet and not dilute too much. So I'm going to definitely water this tower as soon as I'm done with the video so this lettuce can do something with itself. I cut back this cucumber thinking it might re-emerge, and it kind of looked like it's trying. This one has quite a few blossoms and fruit, although it looks rough. It's pretty. It's starting to produce. And here's another one of the tomato suckers I put in here. This one's starting to flower. This one's also starting to flower. So essentially my second wave of tomato, not that I needed that. The lilies I cut all the way back. They are doing great. They actually look better than they did in the spring. So I'm happy about that. And my transplants of my May Night Salvia, everything looked like it's thriving, coming along. The Cosmos, on the other hand, look like they're about ready to give up. And I am going to go ahead and pull them out. The Jerusalem peas look like they're starting to take off. Probably won't get a chance to do anything because the season's not long enough, but it's good to know I can grow it. I would just have to start earlier inside and transplant it. Sunflower finally bloomed while I was away. Over here, I dug up some other daylilies from another location as I was transplanting, and I just kind of plopped them there, and we shall see what happens with that. I'll figure out where I want to put that. Calendula is looking great. Hydrangea is looking massive. Good Lord. I thought I was going to have to dig it up and divide, but it's huge. And next year we should have a lot of blooms on top, not just in the bottom. Another sign of cosmos giving up. This one has yet to start blooming, and this one is pretty much done blooming. There are some new buds on there, but it look unsightly. I'm gonna go ahead and take it out. I think it's because it's too dry. The carrots that I started in pots, I sprinkled them, or I planted them before I left. As you can see, the cucumber gave up. I planted them before I left, and then I also sprinkled some seeds, and look, the seeds germinated. That's awesome. And this red curry is growing, but who knows what will happen there. The Moon and Stars melon finally starting to make a run for it. Probably won't do anything because the season's not long enough at this point. Here's another cucumber. And I did hang up the cantaloupe before I left, with this netting so that birds or anything wouldn't peck at it. And if it was ready and fell off and slipped the vine, then it would be fine. But it's still hanging on to the vine. I don't smell it yet, which is a sign of ripeness, when you could smell the flavor of it or sweetness of it. My random green beans everywhere, definitely producing. Still have yet to cook a green bean, and I have so many. More carrots over here, transplanted and seed sprinkled, and they did great. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull out this cucumber as well as the one on the other side. Coneflower is looking beautiful. Putting out some random new shoots. This hydrangea is massive. I had transplanted some plants that were in pots because I didn't want them to suffer while I was gone, and they look like they've taken root. The Sugar Rush peach has so much fruit on it. Here's another Cosmo that has done absolutely nothing yet. I'm tempted to pull it out. I don't even see buds on it, but I will leave it alone for now. There were multiple, I think I planted 2 here. This side is bloomed out and have a few more coming. Okra. I struggle almost every year, but as you can see, I left one on there. Been away for a week and they grow so quickly. I have some massive ones on here that are not edible at this point. Just have to either let them dry up or cut them off the vine, not the vine, but the stem. Yep, Shishito is full of fruit and flowers. And the daylilies I cut back, like I said, they're doing great. In the future, I know I can cut them back after they bloom because it was a mess. Some bell peppers here. Looking good. And that same shishito with so much fruit on it. And obviously I wasn't here. It's my first time seeing all of this. Oh my goodness. So the tomatoes, quite a few of them split because of the intake of water. So these are gonna have to go in the garbage. And the Berry's Crazy Cherry didn't split, surprisingly. And as we can see, the evidence, there have been squirrels and chipmunks having a field day. So I'm gonna have tomato volunteers everywhere next year. Yeah, birds have been having a field day. The Sweet 100. It looked like it's given up down here, but it's doing great up here. Look, Oh, the animals had a field day. Matter of fact, I saw one in the garden this morning. I see some tomatoes that I need to pick. And look at my hot peppers. Look at these. They're gorgeous. And I actually have one ripening on the several ripening on the Scotch bonnet. Nice. But this is so pretty. Oh. And yes, I have a lot of tomatoes to pick. The slicer tomatoes that are under here, I knew they were protected, so I didn't go ahead and pick them before I left. But these plants are pretty much done. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull them out after I pick the fruits. And I was leaving these on the vine to harden. These are the Cushaw squash. And the vine has long dried up. Ooh, look, and one of my squash fell. Oh, and the bugs got it. That's not good. The other one is still holding on and is firm, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull that. Okay, so I lost one. And I transplanted the bell pepper from under the cucumbers there, and it's doing much better. It's actually starting to flower since I put it here. That's awesome. That was a volunteer that I found in the ground right underneath that same arch. The cabbage are heading up beautifully. The green always comes in before the purple. So I'm gonna take this one out. And then this will probably be the second and the third to go. The broccoli looks amazing. I thought that they would have flowered by now, but they're doing great. And the Kellogg breakfast is finally coming to the party. Wow. The corn shot up, so that's good. The kale looks good. Wow. Next year I will be covering my brassicas again. This is awesome. This is the lacinato kale, dinosaur kale. And the eggplant has been flowering, but it's been dropping its flowers. But I think I might actually have an eggplant in here. Yeah, I do. And another one over there. So that's promising. It's my first time successfully growing eggplant. My callaloo is looking beautiful. Can't wait to chop that up. Look at this broccoli. Oh my. Ooh, yes, when I left, on the carrots, I had the butterfly larva on here. And they were in the very, very small black stages, but they're still here. And I'm gonna leave them alone. And as you can see, I do have carrots down there. They're small though, because I didn't thin them out. And here I have some beans that's well past their prime, so those are gonna be for seed for next year. More beans past their prime and some just ready. Potatoes look like they're pretty much done. And a volunteer ground cherry. The broccoli is doing amazing. I just took the cover off so I could get a better look. I do have an opening on the other side to let the eggplant get some pollination. I think it needs it. When I had it completely covered, the flowers just kept dropping, so I'm not sure. It's my first time being successful at growing the eggplant. So I think some of those cucumber beetles, well, not think, I know some of them got in and they are starting to damage the leaves in here. So hopefully the population don't get too bad, because I have some second wave of cucumbers hidden down in here. I transplanted some lettuce down here on the floor, and I also sprinkled some seeds, and so we shall see what happens there. Not much going on because the corn is now shading everything out. Prior to leaving, I also dropped a whole bunch of seeds. That's actually not kohlrabi. I'm not sure what it is. Oh, there must be a fruit in here because flies just came up. Yep. Rotten fruit. The birds and squirrels have been having a wonderful time. That is some kind of bok choy or something of that nature. I also sprinkled some seeds over here. I don't see any germination there. And I sprinkled some seeds over here. Look like some of them are starting to come up. Yep, there's my split-in sun gold. Oh yeah, a good amount of them are split. Over here in the back, the peaches have gotten a little bit bigger. I keep picking off the ones that look like they've already been damaged. But haven't done that in a while, so I haven't been here. Scallions looking good. Chives are coming back. The PG hydrangea tree is looking good. And apparently the deers have been here again, chewing on my plants. This grapevine is taking over my pear tree and the plum tree. When I do my garden cleanup, I'll take care of that. Oh yeah, so the incredible hydrangea that I transplanted is looking beautiful. It's put on some good new growth. Ooh, and look at my comfrey. It's starting to bloom. This is 1,000 times better than the one over on the other side, which got eaten down by the deers. It has to be the deers because no other animal would be so aggressive with the plant. Like, it's completely bare, or was completely bare. Yeah, the deers have been here. I see some plants that are completely chewed off at the top. Oh yeah, they were here. And my hibiscus is looking real lacy right now. But it's recovered. I went through one day and smushed all the ones I could find, the caterpillars that are doing this to the leaves. I got more buds coming. Yay! And this is what it will look like. Oh, just gorgeous. Too bad it only lasts for one day. These apparently were out yesterday. Oh, this back area needs so much cleanup. I have to come in with the weed whacker. The other incredible or invincible, whichever, hydrangea. The lupins, they keep eating the lupin. This is the tree I transplanted from up top. It finally took. You can see some fresh green growth right here. And a whole bunch of weeds. And here's the third. And apparently my bee balm, for my Clarence bee balm, like its spot because it got some nice new fresh growth there. Oh, here's the other comfrey. And this is recovered from what it looked like before. The corn, I don't even know if it tastes good. I picked what was available and ready when I left. It didn't pollinate very well. This one feels like it did. Not all the way up, but it is what it is. I did plant some kohlrabi down here as well, so we shall see. I am going to take these corn out. Ooh, and look at the noodle beans. These are past the eating stage, so I'm going to leave them, let them dry. You want to pick them to eat when they're like this, not this. And something continues to eat my callaloo. And I think this little thing here is the culprit. This year I've been seeing a lot of beetle-like activity on the callaloo. I don't know what that's all about. But the ones that are not undercover, oh, and this guy right here, this little grasshopper looking thing is the next thing that's eating my plants. My scallop squash came up. It looks like my transplant took for my echinacea. The other comfrey is been eaten down by something. but I also see some caterpillar poop, but I don't see any caterpillars right now. There are all kinds of bumblebees and bees down in here, fighting their way for the pollen. This is what it's supposed to look like. This is what it looks like. Not nice. My cilantro is coming. This is my Katsuma Asian green, which continues to look lace-like. These bugs this year are serious, man. There was a scallop squash under here when I left. It's there and it's huge. Oh my gosh. Look how big that thing is. It's huge. I'm gonna go ahead and get that as soon as I turn this video off. Oh, by the way, this sunflower at the top of the wall, I've been saying it was red all season. It is obviously not red, but I guess I got it mixed up, or the seed packaging company got it mixed up. But it's the same as that one. Still pretty, but not what I expected. Over here, my goodness. Rudbeckia is gone wild, or has gone wild. I'm gonna let it take over, and I need to move this salvia from here. I'm gonna move this salvia from here and put it on this side right here in front of this beautiful little lime. Look at it, it's so pretty. Wow. Yeah, so I'm gonna move the one that's undercover over here and kind of mirror it with this one, and probably put it right here actually, because that limelight is gonna squish it, and that doesn't get much bigger. So just to have that right in front, that would be nice. Nice contrast with the purple. My winter sown yarrow is looking beautiful. It's a different leaf variety from the one that I purchased from the store. My creeping Jenny is awesome, and my in pot cuttings from the other tree, the Pinky Winky tree, are doing beautiful. And my zinnias. And these are the flower buds for next year, which is why you have to cut your plant back after it blooms and not wait until late in the fall, because you're cutting off the blooms. I will be cutting off those stray branches. This year, it doesn't matter because there'll be so many blooms on here, you won't even miss those. My Monet, I just love it. It's so pretty. And look at the limelight, or little lime. It's so pretty. And my hibiscus, I'm so excited that it took. Oh, so excited about that. And the mountain laurel that we cut all the way back to nothing. There's one here and one back there, along with some bindweed looking thing. I'm very, very excited about this bed. It looks great. I am gonna have to move these heucheras from the base here. They're not getting enough sun and the bunnies keep eating them. I did sprinkle this. It didn't look like it ate while I was gone. I did, the night before I left, I sprinkled the deer and rabbit repellent around all the things. And I did find some clearance heucheras, and I did a low drift right here. And my hostas are looking gorgeous, done blooming for the most part. And my, forget what that's called, caladium. And those have been eaten down by the bunny so many times, but they're still kicking. These over here. In the front of the house, we have my pollinator magnet right here. These are the Pinky Winky. They are massive. They're definitely taller than I am. And here are my dahlias. I've been waiting all season to bloom, and Lord, finally there's a bud in there somewhere. Like literally, it's just been all this green growth and no buds. Okay, so it's finally coming. I don't get enough sun in my front yard anymore. When we first moved here, it was hot. It was sun, but that is no longer the case. I did find some Siberian iris for some early spring color right here. Early or late spring color. I am tired of planting tulips and them not coming up because the squirrels have gotten them, or they've rotted because they were in a pot. The pot got too much water, blah, blah, blah. Over the winter, and then they froze, they rot, or the animals got them. It's a waste of money. Down here, my salvias or Veronica, my Royal Candle Speedwell, are going through their second flush of blooms. These ones were not cut back, but the other ones down on the front were cut back, and they look amazing. Now I know I need to do that for sure. Back here, I have some more caladiums. Those are annuals. Those are gonna, go away eventually. And if anybody watches my videos, and I'm always moving things around, the Bobo hydrangea was in this very spot. I put it back because we needed more white back there. It was too heavy on the whites right here. So I'm very, if something doesn't look right, just move it. It is what it is. It'll be fine. The foxglove was where the Bobo hydrangea is. I definitely love it more there. It needed a white element back there. And I also put a white element here. This is a powwow white echinacea. It does get, I think, about 26, 22 inches tall. So it'll be a little bit tall. And hopefully when this rose comes back into full bloom, this rose can get pretty wide. It goes in all directions. So hopefully it won't out or overshadow the Bobo. I like it better now. It's too much white was in this area right here. Too much tall white. The foxglove transplanted back over to this front area here. Looked like it took well, and there is blooming beautifully. And the lady's mantle I had cut all the way back is flushed out very nicely. My basil is still here. My sweet potato vine seems to be moving slow this year. I did cut back this salvia, and it did put out some new flush of growth for me here. This one, I didn't even think about it, and it's looking pretty good. I forgot to cut that one back. Look at these leaves. No two are the same. This is so amazing. For some reason, this one is so white, opaque, and so pretty. And the rose bush, oh my God, is huge again, because I cut it all the way back because it was overtaking everything here. Wow. I love my scallop ajuga. It's so pretty. And something is eating on this. What is that all about? That's new. Oh, and the Lissum came back. I did fertilize everything before I left, like I said, with liquid feed and with in-ground feed, the slow release. Look at all the buds on this thing. Oh my God. Wow. And some of the irises, I just kind of threw them in somewhere because it was just, it's a lot. I moved irises, I moved a lot of things. And I have a white delphinium. Oh my gosh. I thought it was the same color. Oh, the one I broke is the white delphinium because I accidentally bent one the other day. And then the one that already bloomed is the purple one. It already bloomed. And this finally looks a little bit more decent. The ants had this looking real sick. I wanted to throw it in the garbage, but it's looking a little bit better. I did spray it with something, as you can see, so maybe that's what helped. And my bluebeard looked like it's putting on some buds. I found a seedling for what looks like it's the Bluebeard. After I had sprayed it already with the vinegar, I was just like, let me put it in here and see what happens with it. And it's coming along. And my Lychnis, I finally planted it. It's right here. It's supposed to be Lychnis. It's looking very lamb's ear-esque. I don't know. Once again, seed packet could be wrong, but I bought Lychnis. All the things here in the back are done blooming or don't bloom. Earlier on in the season, well, before I left, I pulled up, these are some hardy hydrangea seedlings that I kind of rooted here in the wall. I think some years ago when I tried to grow some myself, I put a pod with seeds here and it fell and did its own thing. And the ones that I planted in the back, I took from here, and it looks like I can take another one from here. And yes, I have to kill the weeds. There are weeds all along my driveway. And these right here, I cut all the way back to the ground. There was not one leaf on them, and look at them putting out a whole new flush of blooms. The plants look so sickly and they look so bad, so I just cut it all the way back, and I am happy I did. And next year, although these are pretty, I am not growing them again. They just look dead and they just look gangly. I don't know. These I'll grow again. These are wave petunias. These are from Baker Creek, the petunia. They just always look sick. Ugh. Not next year. But look at this front yard. Granted, the grass needs to be cut. We just came back last night from vacation. But everything looks good. It survived us not being here. Won't he do it? Over here on the side, I did move this Asiatic lily from down there and put it here because I wanted to open up some space for something else. Those have long since been cut back. These are the bearded irises from the spring. Woo! And finally, I have some. These are the first ones I saw were budding up before I left for vacation. These are some of the dahlias I've been waiting for. Although it's crushing my zinnia underneath there. And I'm so happy this took. Look at my... Wow. So pretty. My hardy hibiscus. And I did find a white swan. Yeah, white swan echinacea. This I put in just before we left. It had a better chance in there than in the pot. And this rose that I've been waiting for. Oh, look, I just made a mess. Oh, gosh. It's finally blooming because I cleared out all the space, gave it a little air, gave it a little sunshine by moving that stuff over to the other end. This was cut back, and I'm going to show you one that I did not cut back. I just kind of selectively pruned the spent blossoms off of the other one, but this one I chopped all the way back to the ground. Gorgeous. I will always do that. This rose is going to rebloom. It looks great. My one marigold that survived from seed, doing beautiful. Okay, so this is what the Veronica looks like that I didn't chop all the way back to the ground. The other one on the other side looks worse. This is what it looks like. I just selectively went in and pruned off the leaves. But now I know, chop it all the way back and you'll be good to go. Happy for the lessons the garden teaches me. I am. And here's the Queen Lime series, Queen Lime Orange. So let's see what that does. And this poor clematis, the bunnies have eaten it back a few times. We shall see what happens here. And the beautiful red zinnia. My lemon balm came back after the power washing chemical situation. And my Bobo from mail order from Proven Winners is looking okay. It's looking a little chlorotic. Look like it needs a little greening up compared to the lemon balm next to it. So we shall see. So far, everything looks good. The garden survived us not being here. Now time to pick some tomatoes and fruits so they don't spoil. Supposed to have some downpours later on today. Have a good day.